So the muscle of the day is the calf muscle. So again, like the other muscles that we've done so far, there's usually one muscle group, but it's actually multiple muscles in there. So for example, the quads, commonly called the quads, but it's actually 4 different muscles in there. We have the hamstrings, which is actually 3, the pecs, which is actually 2 muscles, etc., etc. So the calves are the same way. So we have 2 separate muscles. We have the gastrocnemius. So that's the one that is one that's well known. You know, has that big curve there, the prettier of the calf muscles. It connects all the way down into the heel, but actually attaches to the back of the knee. So it has a little bit of help of flexing the knee. I didn't mention this in the first video, but it has a little help in flexing the knee joint a little bit, but of course pointing the toe, especially when the leg is straight. And then you have the soleus, the not as well known one. If you are doing bent knee calf raises or seated calf raises, you'd be more familiar with this one. But as you can see, it actually attaches below the knee joint and then still attaches into the Achilles tendon, just like the gastroc, and that connects into the heel. So it also helps raise the heel. Let me tilt this down a little bit. So it also helps raise the heel, but with bent knees. So whenever my legs are straight, the soleus isn't contracting as much, but the gastroc is. But when the knees are bent, then the heels lifting here, that's soleus muscle. But the soleus is also important for, like when I go into my squat there, again, the strengthening of a muscle is just as important as the lengthening of the muscle. In this case with the squats, when I lower down into the squat, my soleus muscle has to lengthen out in order for those hips to go back effectively. And I know I'm bowing forward a little bit more because the camera's tilted. Let me go ahead and tilt it up. But this can help you get a deeper squat by lengthening out those soleus muscles. So for the squat, for example, as you lower down, the knees being able to translate forward a little bit is happening because of the lengthening of the soleus. Of course, if you get closer to the floor, it has to lengthen even more. The knees might go past the toes, but as long as you have the heel pressure, you're good for the knees. But that soleus muscle, that calf muscle, innermost calf muscle, has to lengthen in order to get this deep squat. Sometimes when you see squats, and I have some clients like this, where their knee bends here, and then they think they can go deeper, but they're bowing forward. They're turning it more into a deadlift versus keeping that torso more upright. But it's because that soleus muscle is locked up, and sometimes the calves too. So again, that's where lengthening is just as important as the contraction of the muscle. So these calf muscles, again, help raise off the toes, gives you a lot of power, pushing forward, you know, and catching yourself on that front foot too, that deceleration, that lengthening of the muscle needs to do that with control. That's why we did the calf raises earlier with that slow control down. It's helping practice that deceleration of the movement. So it helps you get more power, less injury, with more stability. So anyway, that is your muscle of the day, the calves. This is a fun one.